And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, Atlantis.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside FD off. Bring in FD off. It's orange!
R45! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
The methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.
Welcome to NSF stream here, which is, of course, the static fire of Ship 31. There it is. There you can see the Masseys test area already venting, and we have a ship, an upcoming ship of a potential 6th flight of Starship being tested right now. We expect a potential static fire today here, and that's why we went live, because we like static fires. We like the fire in the static fire. We also like when it stays static. And I'm not alone here today. I'm joined by two brilliant co-hosts. And I'm very excited to talk all about this event all today. Starting with Mr. Max Evans. Max, do we have you on comms?
I sure hope so, Adrian. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I mean, it's cool to have you here. Like, usually we talk about Starlings, so quite a new thing here.
Yeah, this is not your ordinary star. Oh, wait, hang on a second. This is Starship. Why am I here? No, it's always happy to. I'm always happy to come out and see Starship. Any Starship activity nowadays. So I'm very happy to be here.
Absolutely happy also to have you here. So yeah, it's hopefully a great show. And also joining us today with all of his knowledge and analysis about Starship is, of course, Ryan Weber. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Adrian. How about you? It's Ship 31, static fire. Let's go. It's been a bit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while since we have seen a proper Starbase testing and getting into the action here. So yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting to see. Ryan, where are we in the countdown? Do we have a rough guess? Is the ship frosty? I think it's frosty, right?
Yeah, there's like 3 rings. It looks like there's about... Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. We got a couple of rings of frost here on 31. Based off when that frost started to appear, we could be 20 to 30 minutes away, give or take. But this view is brought to you by our very own Jack, who's
on a boat, I think.
Yeah, on a boat.
Max, how hard is to film it like that? Like, is that a particular thing you would love to also do with static fire? And how is it to film on a boat and a rocket event?
Well, to be honest, I've never actually filmed anything live from a boat before, and I don't get seasick very easily, but I have gotten a little bit queasy just looking through my camera's viewfinder or screen, looking at something, especially at a super tight focal length. So depending on your squeamishness or how strong of a stomach you have, or how prone to, I guess, motion sickness you are, it can be kind of tricky. And also, you have the live streaming complexities that go with it as well. In terms of getting a good signal, do you have a stable feed, all of that. But I've never had to do that before. But the Rio Grande doesn't look too bad today, even though the focal length or the camera's bumping up and down a little bit, but it could be much worse. But this view looks great.
Absolutely, kind of a unique angle here, and I'm once again want to thank Jack here for not rolling out, I guess, like paddling out. I don't know, driving out somewhere in there, and getting us these views. And I also want to thank Jay and Kevin, of course, who are behind the scenes for today's stream and help us to make this nice and pretty. And with that, let's start to get into questions. That's the one thing we always want to do here. If you have questions, make sure to tag at NASASpaceflight in chat. And that's we have a handy little tool that will make sure that we answer some of these. And also, sometimes I'm just going into a chat and I will just pick out some questions. We'll see. We'll see how it goes and how it evolves here. Somebody, Chris W. actually asked here, did we give Max the wrong coordinates? No, he's by intention on the Starship stream.
Thanks, Chris B. Love you too.
No, it was Chris W. Sorry, it's the wrong Chris.
Oh, Chris W. My bad.
No problem. Let's see here.
We have a lot of Chris's here.
Yeah,
There are lots of Chris's here, to be fair.
Yep. Absolutely. I feel like every time you look away, there's another Chris. It's an interesting question here about Flight 6. So, just to summarize here, this would be the upper stage for... I think we can hear it, by the way, right?
We hear venting.
That's the, that's like almost like breathing.
Ship 31 is alive.
That's fascinating.
That's kind of a cool sound. Yeah.
That's a really, really cool sound. I love that. Sorry, I totally got distracted by my chain of thought here because I love that sound so much, and it's actually kind of cool. Yeah, Ryan. So, which flight will this be on, and what do we expect from the ship? What's the upcoming career of this ship?
So this is Flight 6. So after 30, whenever they decide to fly 30, I mean, yeah, who knows at this point? It's probably going to be a few months. But this ship, we expect it to get the same heat shield treatment that 30 got, so ablative and everything under it. It hasn't gotten that yet. They kind of started to strip it. As you can see, there's a couple of strips of heat shield tiles missing, so they started it, then stopped it, and decided to go with a static fire. This will fly alongside 13, which I will point out there's a solid chance we're going to get a Booster 13 static fire this upcoming week. We've got a road closure tomorrow night. It's the 20th, the morning of the 20th, basically 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. From the production site to the pad. They've put together the booster transport stand with SBMTs, and they recently tested the Raptor Boost QDs. So there's a solid chance we might be getting a boost Flight 6 static fires over the next week. So, which would be really exciting, you know, something to, you know, tease us while we're waiting for a flight here.
Absolutely, we are certainly very excited for Flight 5. And I hope to see it at some point. Max, how's your overall feeling about Flight 5? Excited for it? Do you if you go there? Any specific plans for the catch attempt? I mean, it's gonna be probably one of the most stunning things ever captured, if it will be captured.
I mean, assuming, as I've said before, assuming the boost backburn goes right and the booster is on the trajectory that they want it to be on. I think that there's actually a pretty good chance that SpaceX can end up catching the booster, but obviously a lot has to go right for that to happen. Maybe I'm just overly optimistic and I'm dead wrong, and I guess time will tell if that's accurate or not. But I'm hoping to be around the SPI angle again this time, only because from over there, especially if you are off the ground with any elevation, you have a really good view of the flight path as a whole. And so that would be optimal, assuming also the sun is in the right position to track the booster from hot staging with the boost backburn all the way, hopefully, to the launch site. So obviously weather has to play ball as well, which it hasn't for Flight 3 and Flight 4, GER. But I'm hoping to bring out probably a very large lens with me this time, because there's a lot that I want to capture between liftoff and also capturing the hot staging event is also super exciting with what the exhaust interaction does between the hot stage ring itself and also just being in the upper atmosphere with the expansion as well. There's just, honestly, every Starship flight is such a huge event to capture, and it's always so exciting, provided you actually have weather behaving, so you are actually able to see it all the way through. But I guess time will tell.
Absolutely. It's absolutely an interesting. I mean, we had these 4 kinda similar flights now, which always like had a better or worse, of course, visibility, but they were all quite similar in the overall what we can capture from the ground, right? So this will be really the first one that, well, flips it a bit and makes it a bit different. So
I'm also really curious to see like how strong those sonic booms really are in real life, getting smacked in the face by them from SPI as well. Because we all know and love how Falcon 9 sounds when the first stage comes back and smacks everyone in the face here in Cape Canaveral and in Cocoa Beach and everywhere else. But I'm really excited to see like how different this is.
absolutely, it's I mean, it's a very, very, very much bigger booster. So I wonder how big the difference is. Well, we'll first certainly see, and hopefully capture that on audio, as Ship 31 here is continuously breathing in preparation for a static fire attempt in maybe about 10 minutes or so. Let me thank some people here that help us keep the lights running, so to say, and help us to be able to cover all of these space events. Starting with L. Mary with a super chat, no message attached. Thank you for that. Austin Skirvin also using tips.nasaspaceflight.com for submitting a tip to us here and saying, feeling good to get into some more testing. I guess you can say it's pretty fire. Yeah, testing is indeed pretty fire. Hopefully all skills are okay after the fire. Thank you for that tip. I hate that word. Space Pope, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Space Pope. Wait, Jack Boat? Captain Jack. Yeah, it's
Captain Jack?
Yeah,
Jack Sparrow?
I think it's apparently a thing. And now I think you have to
Please tell
acknowledge that.
Adrian, please tell me you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
I have seen them.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That's
also,
good.
also thank you, Back Channel, for making fun of my pronunciation of that thing that climbs on trees. Very, very nice of you all. Robert Keeper becoming a Red Team member. Thank you so much. And Jean-Luc Sills with a super chat. No message attached. Thank you so much for that. And then we have Chris W. with 40 Jack Killed Fund with £4.99. Thank you all for the very generous and early support here. And we'll make sure to continue our coverage here with Ship 31. Ryan, maybe some people are not fully up to date yet. What did they exactly prepare at Masseys that they are able now to fire ships there since a few ships? And what's this whole flame trench?
Oh yeah, they built the flame trench and a whole tank farm. Well, they'd already had liquid nitrogen and liquid oxygen for cryo testing. So they basically built a whole trench and added a methane tank farm, and then built a mobile static fire stand, which could be a prelude to not exactly a mobile OLM-2, but like an interchangeable OLM, because it wouldn't actually move with a vehicle on it or anything like that. So, but obviously we'll have to see what Pad B looks like in the whole. But yeah, they wanted to move it off the launch site so they didn't have to close down the road as often and things like that. So it made sense to put it over here. They had the room to do it. And then here we are. They've already static fired 26 and 30 over here. So 31 will be the third ship to get that honor. Next one to do it will be ship 33. So I can't wait for that to happen.
Absolutely. It's kind of cool how they have evolved Masseys over time. And by the way, I see some people confused how close this camera is, and right? Sometimes perspective can mess with you, and I think we have a picture that shows you that. This is a picture from where Jack is on the left. And the thing in the middle there, that's ship 31. So, Max, this is one of the cases where you really think you're that close, but it's just camera magic, right?
I mean, it's also that also can work in vice versa, in that it looks close on the tight feed on the right, but also it can look kind of far away from a wider perspective, like in Jack's photo on the left. But also in real life, there isn't that compression with your eyes. So in real life, you look a lot closer than you really are. So I'm not quite sure what focal length Jack is at as well, so it's difficult to really tell how close or how far away he is. Obviously, staying out.
I'm at 240 millimeters. And
240 millimeters.
I can even get this close is thanks to the Rocket Ranch and Anthony Gomez. Thank you to both of them for getting us out on the boat on the Rio.
Absolutely, that's amazing. I mean, we love it. I love that view. That's such a unique
it's a great view
of the fire.
We can even see a frost. We can see a frost slide on the methane tank as well. So they're getting closer here.
Yep, we might just be minutes away. And we get all of these views, of course, because you're able to support us. And I want to quickly mention something here that is very, very close to my heart because I love our new thrust collection. And of course, we have Raptor shirts. Of all the engines we did, and of all the engines that you could get, of course we did Raptor. I mean, it's kind of new still as an engine, but it's certainly earning its title as a legendary engine. So if you want to have Raptor on a shirt, make sure to go to shop.nasaspaceflight.com and get your Raptor shirt. I mean, I love it. I have the Raptor and the B4 here, and I wear them like as much as I can. I said it, I think, was it yesterday? I'll wear the BF4, and I will make sure to wear the Raptor in the upcoming days. So yeah, go to shop.nasaspaceflight.com and get your cool thrust collection on whatever items you desire. And with that, let's go back to Ship 31 because it might be about to static fire, and we of course want to make sure that we cover that. Ryan, you said like roughly top of the hour-ish?
Based off prop load and when we think we saw frost appear, yeah, that's what I'd say about top of the hour. Masseys test site is always a little bit iffy. They're still trying to dial it in every time they do it. Also, 31, it might have had a spin prime. It was hard to tell because of the weather, but it definitely had an abort. What was it? Back on the 14th or something, because they only loaded it a little bit and then all activity stopped and then it depressed. So I think that was an aborted a static fire attempt. So they're still trying to work out the issues with this tank farm as they haven't used it very often. So yeah.
Max, with you being at the Cape, how, like, seeing all of this, how excited are you that at some point you will see Starship at the Cape and like testing and tests all at the Cape and flights at the Cape? How excited is Starship for you coming up?
I mean, first, like, major FOMO, because I really miss Starbase, and I really want to go back, and I haven't been since Flight 3, so I want to go visit again soon for something big. But, honestly, it hasn't really sunk in yet, despite seeing, obviously, the enormous Starship Tower at Pad A, that Starship is going to come to the Cape eventually. Hopefully within the next 2 or 3 years. Hopefully only 2 years, but it hasn't really begun to process how that might look, especially with either ships or boosters rolling past a VAB. Like, I'm thinking about this in real time as you ask me that question, Adrian. Like, it's such a wild and profound thought. But just based on how testing goes and flights go out of Starbase, I guess will dictate how quickly that technology and that hardware will eventually come here. So, but I am incredibly excited.
100%. I will join that excitement because I want to see more rockets at the Cape. There's a certain Nuglin that is also coming up that I'm very, very excited about. And more big rockets, more better, for sure. And we might just be... I mean, Ryan, SpaceX has the tendency to sometimes target like top of the hour kind of things. Like... They sometimes tend to do that, so this might line up just perfectly around top of the hour, right?
It might. The Masseys tend to slip. I'll just say that we've at times we've seen prop load and it takes about 50 minutes. Other times it's taken an hour. It really depends. So yeah, I just have to wait and see here. But it looks like. Subcoolers are dying down here. We can't see engine chill from this. There's a line that goes around the base of the stand itself, and it's kind of hard to see that from any of our angles. And then there's a pit where they dump the engine chill. Often we don't almost pretty much no one has an angle on that. It's kind of hard to see that angle. So, but based off some pictures from other things, it looks like they're in engine chill. So they're definitely proceeding towards engine testing here. I mean, I kind of have to considering the stand that they're on, but hoping for a minute or two from now.
Yeah, and that comes down to the fact that, like, when Ryan says, "Oh, the subcooler star is down and everything," active subcooling produces condensation because, well, you have heat exchange, right? You have while something gets colder, something else gets hotter. That's just in the logic of the system. So that's stopping, and the fact that that no longer is the case could mean that they have finished tanking, and with that might be very close to a test. Like, honestly, this test could happen any second from what we know. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled, and you will probably not get a good warning. Like, there will just suddenly be a cloud.
Yeah, I wish we had visual on the deluge system or some trigger that would cue you to get ready, but unfortunately we don't have that visual.
Yeah, it's super hard, right? I mean, with Falcon, you at least get like the T-minus 2 minute vent, right? So you always get a good, that's a good indicator. I know it's just 2 minutes away, so that always helps. Well, with Starship, it's a bit harder, especially with these views sometimes. So, yeah, but we are just 10 seconds away from the top of the hour. Tank Farm doing some weird tank farm things, as tank farms do. But the top of the hour has come and go.
Looks like the lock subcoolers, they're doing something.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, we are in short commentary mode right now because we are not sure when exactly they will do something. So we of course don't want to talk over it because at some point there might be some engine roar that we want to capture and that Jack gets to experience. So yeah. Still, the subcoolers have been picking up again. That's weird.
Yeah, not just the lock stuff. Looks like nothing.
Maybe some topping off. Yeah, or some header tanks, like stuff like that. Could be.
We should be able to see header tank. If the tip is all frosty, it's kind of hard to tell because there's no heat shield tiles on the tip for this one right now. So you could tell if they actually have the header tanks loaded.
By the way, I always have this.
They do. Because there's venting from the header tank vents right there. So, yeah, the header tanks are loaded. So
they're probably, maybe that is the subcoolers picking up again. By the way, I always have this misconception about rockets that I can see when sound is coming to the camera because I always expect the water to behave a bit different, but that, of course, only happens with shock waves, right? So you cannot... But it's just a thing that I always imagined that would happen. But it didn't.
The nitrogen side going now. Alright.
Yeah.
I can see some venting from the engine chill area.
Any second it could be the case. Like, we should always point this out. Like, SpaceX is not giving us, like, I don't know, a timeline. We don't have, like, a fact sheet from SpaceX of, like, oh, by the way, the static fire could be at... I don't know. But we're just waiting for what we can observe and see. And sometimes we guess the right things, and sometimes we guess the wrong things. If that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, stop me. So yeah, and just let's see here how this blows up. Max, I'm throwing you a quick question here. Do you think that the recent landing failure allowed SpaceX to try the Galileo landing because they didn't have a streak to project?
I mean, potentially, but also SpaceX disclosed that the data from the previous launch of Galileo offered them some really important data to go off of to perhaps go. Well, not perhaps. They did take away some mass from Falcon 9 in certain areas to a point sufficient enough to warrant trying booster recovery for Falcon 9 first stage on the last Galileo flight. So, based on that, and based on the flight parameters that were needed, Falcon 9 came in and re-entered much faster and from a much higher altitude than usual, which put the first stage under a lot of stress. So it was a very unique mission profile for that launch yesterday. But potentially, I mean, the thing with SpaceX is they are always learning something new with Falcon 9 with every single flight, and in particular with Starlink missions, because the mass limits on those missions are so high usually that they are always learning something new, despite Falcon 9 currently being in the Block 5 and
There goes. Ooh.
That's why you throw commentators long questions, because
You're
then
right.
things happen. There we go. That looked like a good duration static fire of ship 31. Of course, we don't get a good confirmation of like what was the expected length, but from what we can tell, that looked like a clean static fire.
That looked like it was full duration too, which looked good.
About 6 seconds or so.
Yeah, that's usually what we would expect in the usual range. Oh, you can see, look at that.
Look at that steam plume.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
So cool. That's nuts.
Wow, look at that.
And that's only from firing for 6 seconds, a 6-second burn duration.
Yeah, that's quite a big plume.
Alex in the back channel saying it was Stennis style, which is accurate.
Yeah, wonderful. That looked superb. And of course, we work on like replays behind the scenes to make sure you're getting the proper coverage here. Like we're not going to leave you with just one angle. Also, you can hear the depress vent going.
Yep, full depress and detank now, and I would expect 31 to roll back at some point. Either probably sometime next week. Maybe get its heat shield done. Now that's kind of about it for 31. It needs its heat shield done. Maybe whatever post static fire work it to get, and then it'll be ready for flight. There's a solid chance that this vehicle will be ready for flight before Flight 5 even goes, which I mean is good, because then if Flight 5 goes well, and all they have to do is refurbish. Takes about a month to refurbish the pad, get this stack back out, and go again. So,
Yep.
you know.
Absolutely gorgeous views here. Thanks again for Jack rolling out, and also thanks for Rocket Ranch too for helping with these get Jack out there and providing these views. So amazing teamwork over there, and that just gave us the ability to witness this.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Both of our camera views are thanks to Rocket Ranch. So if you're coming to South Texas for a launch, check them out. They're an awesome place to watch launches and static fires from. So Rocket Ranch, check them out. They rule.
Absolutely, 100%, and thanks, Jack, for pointing that out. Ship 31 still standing, which is good. We like when upper stages still stand after firing. And I also want to quickly thank some people here while we wait for replays. Again, we are working on replays. We are working on stuff here behind the scenes, and we'll get that to you, but it takes some time. So getting that to you very soon. Let me thank Flight Sim Dev for becoming a PatRed member. Thank you so much for that. And then we have RC Horseman gifting a Red Team membership and then 5 Red Team memberships, so overall 6. Thank you so much for that, RC Horseman. Really, really generous support, as always. Helps us certainly here. Then we have Ninja Decimator with the 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you for that as well. Also, very regular name that we hear all the time. And then we have Plutonium239 with the $5 super chat saying, "Do you think FAA will change the launch date when SpaceX finish paying fines?" I don't think the fines have any relation to what is going on in Boca. Like, I don't think the fines for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy have any relation to what is going on in the license in Boca. Anybody else disagreeing with me here?
No, I would say. I mean, they're two way different programs in two different locations. So
Yeah.
I would say they're not really relatable.
Yeah. No.
Yep. Like, that's I don't buy I don't buy that story. So thanks for that. And then we have Dave Casey with the $1.99 super chat saying, "Let's light it. It was indeed lit. I'm not sure.
It
was
lit up.
lit.
It was lit.
It was lit. My God,
Lighted.
Lighted.
it was lighted.
Oh my god.
My English is failing me today. What's going on?
Badly too, man. That's just oof.
I don't know what's. Yeah, I don't know what's going
Oof.
on. It's a bad day. It was lighted. Thanks for that.
It is now immortalized for all time.
Yeah, thanks for
that
making
should be your campaign slogan, Ian. It was lighted.
Oh man. Thanks for that. Yeah, apparently I've started to incorporate very weird German sayings lately in the way I talk, and there are people here at NSF that make sure to remind me that I have been doing that, to word it like that. And I think we have some shots here from Andrew R., who is out in the field right now performing some maintenance and camera and like sites work, and was also able to, well, here we go, capture a ship 31 static fire. I think Daniel, who's also referred to in the last Starbase update as Jack's dad, is also out there right now, helping with cameras and yeah, probably also witnessing this. So thanks to you both there for helping in the field. And I'm glad you got this nice like bonus view of ship 31 static firing. Absolutely cool evening so far. That went kind of quick so far. Like we were here and then we're just going through it here. So let's see here what we get of replays. We have some cameras on this. Spoiler: NSF has cameras on a rocket stage. You cannot imagine that. Let's see some more questions. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was saying, yeah, that's
so no post-test bush fire this time. No residue fire.
Yes.
Yeah. No
it's
fires.
pretty well contained with the flame trench now and the water deluge system they have. Like basically the flame trench works as the deflector they have is large tubular steel with a bunch of holes in it, and then they push a bunch of water pressure through it. They build up pressure, and then it just kind of goes through and comes out, and as soon as the rocket exhaust hits it, it just vaporizes the water, deadens the sound a little bit, and prevents any shockwaves back onto the vehicle. It's a much better stand for ships compared to the jankiness that was the suborbital site, because boy was that janky.
Yes.
Yeah, the tiles fare a lot better on this. It's better in so many ways, and yeah, I can't wait to see what the flame trench for the pad will look like. The actual orbital pad, that'll look really cool.
We also have some update here on a Rocket Lab launch that was just aborted here, and I think we have some replays of that because Rocket Lab performed, was about to perform a launch here, and
3,
it didn't go as well.
1. Heading abort.
Yeah, that's
Pretty sure
So
the rocket's supposed
Electron also had a static fire.
to...
congrats to Setway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that rocket's supposed to leave the pad. I may be mistaken, though. I may be mistaken. I don't know, though.
That was a long hold
Be
down.
nice.
What?
I mean, that was to be serious here and to actually go that hold down looked long to me.
Yeah,
while
it
the
for sure
engines were
was.
going.
Yeah, that was definitely off nominal. Something on either the vehicle or the GSE side was seriously unhappy because it's really not the best for the vehicle to obviously light its engines and abort so close to T0. So I'm not sure what happened.
And it didn't even look like a spin up issue with the engines, because if the engines started to spin up and everything and then aborted, that usually goes a bit quicker. This looks even a bit different because it looked like the engines lighted and then just stopped. It's a weird one. Like, this is certainly up there in the weird aborts. I said lighted again, right?
You sure did.
Yep, you did. It's a weird abort. True. They'll figure it out one way or the other. Whatever the issues, they'll figure it out. Rocket Lab's pretty good at that. So
I always feel bad because I love Electron and I love LC1A and B. So it's always a sad day whenever that happens.
I want to, by the way, thank Chad here for getting my back here and helping me with the situation, because they are like, as long as the other team members don't start to write and speak German, you're fine.
Oh, geez.
So yeah. Let's see here. We're getting a question here from Kuiperspace asking any time estimate on when the flight patch is dropping. Flight patch 5 is mostly ready, and will drop it once they doing a full stack for the 5th flight. It's we're very, very far advanced. Like, there is a patch basically, and it will be available once we see a full stack.
The Flight 5 patch will drop when it drops.
Yeah, it will drop for sure. So yeah, do we have? Let's see if we have some more questions that we can dive into. Somebody pointing out that there was a little vent at the top of Starship before the static fire, like 5 to 10 seconds before. Yeah, there's some vents that are a bit closer to ignition that sometimes happen. So that would line up.
At top of the nose, that would have been the header tank vents. It could have just been equalizing pressure or something like that. But
yeah, the question is, like, did they fire this from a main, or like did they transition from main to header? Like, that's interesting,
right? Considering it's the only static fire this thing has done, I would assume straight for the mains. I don't know why they would go from the headers. There really isn't any. I mean, they'll load the headers to load them, but it's probably fired off the main tanks.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This was the 3rd static fire at Masseys, right? Is Lenny James asking?
It is it's the 4th.
Yeah, we had Ship 26.
I think Ship 26 fired twice on it, didn't it?
No, 26 fired once, 30 fired twice, and this
31 then. Once. Yeah, so it would be the 4th static fire at Masseys.
No, my bad. It is 3, because 30's last thing was a spin prime. That's right.
Oh, why did that get in my head? Like I had the same thing where I just booked that as static fire.
It was static fire for 26, static fire for 30, then a spin prime for 30. Where the static fire for 30 is where we got those really, really ridiculous slow-mo views.
Yes.
And then, of course, the static fire here. So yeah, it's 3 plus a spin prime. And possibly another spin prime for this one. It's really hard to know whether or not they aborted twice or they did a spin prime. It's really hard to know.
I'm getting a question here about Electron here, Max. Is Electron clamped down on a launch pad?
It is, yes. And so obviously, assuming nominal engine and throttle up and chamber pressures and everything else with the umbilicals, the clamps will release and set Electron free. But obviously, that did not happen today.
Yeah, so you basically there's two ways how you can like hold down a rocket, right? Because we have the Starship method almost, or I think SLS kind of does the same, right? Where it kind of is just hold down by its own weight.
Yeah, well, I think for Starship as well. I think for the first, I'm not sure if the launch procedures were the same for Flight 3 and Flight 4, but the hold down clamps were actually released at around T minus 14 minutes or so, and then Starship just lifted off once its thrust to weight ratio reached above 1-to-1 when the Raptors throttled up. So I believe so.
Try and remember. I'm pretty sure it was a lot earlier than 14 minutes. I almost want to say it was before prop load, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm trying to remember when they. I think it was like Flight 1 or 2.
I see Alex typing.
Alex is going to tell you. It was closer to. It was about an hour before launch is when they released.
Interesting.
Okay. It happens during prop load because the system. It's the system
they
that
probably
they
wait
built,
for like a minimum weight, right? Like they wait for like a minimum weight in the tanks, and then they just release it. I mean,
the biggest issue is because if you were to 3D model the OLM, okay, and you try to do a clamp release and close the arms all at once, you could easily get some binding issues, which means the pull down arms bind against each other or bind against the vehicle. It's not a great system they made. It's too many moving parts in one complex area. So to solve that, they release them early, basically.
Which works.
I'm assuming that's gonna. I assume it's gonna change a decent amount in the new pad. Because they don't really want to do that. I doubt they want to keep doing that. But yeah, it's a system that works for now, but in in future, not so much.
Really good.
Apparently, we are doing replays.
Yeah.
The Raptors always sound so unique, especially at shutdown.
Yeah, like you can almost hear like the blades or something coming to a stop. It's such a unique sound.
I love the cloud left over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is very Stennis-like. Very Stennis-like.
Yeah, I always love that when they go for like these 6-minute fires at Stennis.
Yeah.
Like
it's just a giant cloud.
The cloud that gets left over from like Falcon 9 launches. Or like SLS. I can only imagine what the cloud will be like on a dual exit flame trench for the next pad for Starship. Like, depending on how much, because they're going to they're tripling the amount of water they're using from the current pad. Because it looks like they're going to have a water-cooled OLM deck plus the flame diverter. So, like, it's going to be insane, the cloud it's going to make.
Well, that's a wider shot here.
I think this is Dune.
Watch at the bottom. I'm staring at it. Maybe there is no static fire on this replay. Maybe just showing you.
Kevin just, teased us and yeah.
Is that like oh, there it is. You can see the second bank, by the way.
Yeah. You can see the initial ignition and the second ignition from even Dune.
If I had a nickel for every time that Ship 31 has interrupted a sentence by Ryan, I had 3 nickels.
It's Kevin that's doing it, not 31. I'll blame Kevin for doing it. He's just trying to do it just to do it. But
I'd have only 3 nickels, but it's weird that it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I'm not talking over it. I'm letting it do its thing, okay?
Yeah, by the way, is that a lamp in the background? Like, I think I hear a lamp.
Sounds like it.
It's an like, you hear something like making lamp sound. So, interesting. Also, you can see how high that cloud is. And remember, that ship is not tiny.
No, ship itself is actually bigger than the space shuttle orbiter by a considerable amount. And so while it may look small on the horizon from these views, I can assure you it is far from.
Yep. Kinda crazy. I mean, this cloud is like a few hundred meters high.
And you know what? Depending on how the data looks from this static fire, this will be the last V1 Starship static fire ship, at least from the ship.
Yeah. Which is...
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So in a way, we're saying goodbye to V1 already, almost.
In a way.
Yeah, the next ship that goes on this pad will be taller than the ship that's currently on it. By
Taller
about...
and also with a different flap configuration.
Yeah, it'll be 6 feet taller, and forward flaps will be a little bit more forward, a little bit smaller.
That audio, man, that never gets old.
No,
The
hearing
birds
Raptor
were
and
so
just-
confused. The birds were like, what? Oh, look at that. That's so cool to see.
This could be a really relaxing stream.
I mean, there's
Get it?
probably
Get it?
something in
'Cause-
that water that I don't want to swim with, but...
I mean, get it? Because he's going down the stream?
Yep.
No? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yep. There's thumbs
You're getting a thumbs up.
up.
I mean, is that a good swim river, or is that a you should not swim in this river?
I mean, they have alligators and swamp puppies in that area too. As you know.
So you shouldn't swim in it.
I mean, I would not recommend it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
You can if you want to, but I would not recommend it.
Yep, not swimming with alligators. Not on my bucket list. Certainly. But that looks relaxing.
Boring.
Jack, can you sign us with your hand how many minutes of drive you have to do now until you're back? Not sure if you can.
I don't.
Ooh, what are we seeing there?
Birds.
Birds. Gage will be so happy.
Happy gauge noises. Are those, what are those called? Cranes? Pelicans?
Yeah, I think they're cranes of sorts, yeah.
Okay.
Andrew in the back channel is like, the alligators are really cuddly. I've been trying to tell you guys that for a while. They're just frogs with teeth.
Just
Yeah, the problem is, Max, I don't like the teeth part.
yeah,
It's like
teeth part's
they're
a little,
frogs. Yeah, it's like they're frogs with teeth. Yes, but they are frogs with teeth.
You also don't like spiders, and they're adorable as well.
Yes, actually, I don't like spiders. There's in a video game I play sometimes, they recently implemented a arachnophobia mode, and where you can change every single spider to a crab, which is amazing. So
Wow.
it's now all crabs. So yeah, quite nice. Any more replays we have here, Kevin? I'm looking at you here, but no yeah.
I think yeah.
I think this was a good one. I think we just went live at the right time. We saw some tanking, we saw some firing, we now saw some replays and detanking.
We have officially played all of the replays, yes.
So you say you have no replays?
I have no more replays. I still have cameras, thankfully, but no more replays.
But
Thank you,
Kevin
Kevin.
could always use more cameras, though. So
I'll
Always.
take more, especially of Masseys.
100%. So, with that, I think we are starting to do our wrap up here. Thanking first Ryan. Ryan, thanks for being with us here today and sharing your Starship knowledge.
yeah, kind of short notice, but I'm always glad to come on and see a ship static fire. It's been a while, it's been a little bit since we got one, so yeah, always a pleasure to come on.
Absolutely. Always glad to have you. And also, special guest today, kind of on a Starship stream versus usually being in Florida, but, well, still technically being in Florida, but Mr. Max Evans. Max, thanks for being on today.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to hang out and watching this static fire with us.
Absolutely. And we also had Jack hopping into the stream and also sharing these amazing views on the right with us, which was quite amazing. And thanks for that, Jack. There we go. Thumbs up from Jack. And also thanks again to Rocket Ranch, who also worked with Jack to make today's views possible. They are also awesome. Check them out as well. Thanks again for Rocket Ranch for helping with getting Jack out of there and filming this. So thanks for that. Behind the scenes, we also had Jay and Kevin, who run the show today and made sure that we get these views all the way here, because if without of them, we would just have cameras in the field and we would talk with us here alone without a stream. So thanks so much for Jay and Kevin for making this possible. And in the field, we also had Daniel, I think. We had Andrew. I know Mary was out there. There's probably also some stuff coming on from Mary later, also from that static fire. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks for everybody who was out there in the field for NSF today. And I'm Adrian Byte. I was your host today. This was a very enjoyable stream. Thanks everybody for participating. And with that, we'll make sure to catch you later. See ya.
RS-68 chamber pressure looks good. Following up. Roger, planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes!
It's orange! Oh my god! Oh my god! Decollage! Put that in the big bag, Neil.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes! You good? We don't need any more of these.